Today we're going to learn how to use the basic tools of SketchUp. What is SketchUp? SketchUp is a CAD program, CAD, or Computer Aided Design Program. If we look it up in Google, and you see CAD right there, it's an acronym, we can see that people have drawn all kinds of things such as cars and houses, parts, and then larger assemblies. And so that's what we can do with a computer-aided design program. It allows us to easily draw things, products, and what we're focusing on in this class is technical drawing. Technical drawing means that you're showing the measurements, the size, and how parts fit together. And so we're drawing for the purpose of allowing or communicating to someone else exactly how a part appears in real life. And if we send that drawing to someone else, they should be able to make the product with no question, because they have the whole drawing in front of them. It's completely measured or dimensioned. And it can also have more information, such as the material it's made out of, the color, things of that sort. And so as we scroll down, we see all kinds of things such as tanks, small parts here, houses, airplanes, you name it. Here goes a phone with all the parts here, expanded out so that you can see each part. Bridges. And there's lots of different CAD programs. We're going to use one that's called SketchUp. It's actually a free program, and you can download this at home. Let's take a look at it. On your program, on your computer at school, if you go to the Start menu, you should be able to find SketchUp. If not, go to the All Programs and see if you can find SketchUp there. After you click on SketchUp, you may be asked to choose a template. If not, here goes a button over here that says Choose Template. It will start you at the very top of the list where it says Simple Template. We're going to go down the list quite a ways and go down to Woodworking Millimeters. As you can see, it says use this template for smaller scale projects. And we will be doing smaller projects in the shop. And we will be drawing those out. And so woodworking template is a good one for us to use. Right now we're just going to use millimeters to keep things simple, and so we'll click on Start Using SketchUp. Before we get started talking about the tools, let's talk about our workspace here and what we're looking at. You see a blue, a red, and a green line. The red line is for the width of your object, the blue line is for height, and the green line is for depth. It's a little odd looking at first if you don't have a good visualization of what it looks like. So let me draw a rectangle for you. And as I draw this rectangle, you have to imagine as if I'm drawing the floor of a room. And this would be the floor. Now forget about the room, because now I'm going to take this and pull this out. And now you get to see what an object looks like in this space. So again, width, height, and depth going back and forth this way. Now let's talk about how we look at this. Up at the top I have a toolbar, and it's called a View toolbar. You may not have this on yours. In fact, you probably will not have this. I encourage you to pop this toolbar up and have it up every time you work in SketchUp. How do you get the toolbar? You need to do a right click and click on Views. You see mine just went away because I unclicked it. So I'm going to do a right click again in the gray part and go down to Views, and there it goes. And this is going to allow us to look at this in different ways. So here I'm looking at isometric, which means you're looking at kind of from the corner, and then a top view, front, right, back, and left side. And of course all those look pretty much the same because we're looking at a rectangle. Also, you can take your mouse, and there's a click wheel. On that click wheel in the middle, if you click it and hold it down, you can rotate the object to look at as well. There's also zoom in and zoom out with the wheel, and so if I move the wheel up, it's going to zoom in, and if I move the wheel back towards me, it's going to zoom out. Another couple of handy tools, and by the way, when you zoom in and out, you really want to zoom in and out on top of the place you want to look at. For example, if I want to look at this corner here, I want to put my mouse right over top of the corner and then zoom in or zoom out. But if I put my mouse over here and start zooming in and zooming out, you see things start moving in weird places. If you do have that problem and you accidentally lose your drawing, there's another tool here called Zoom Extents, and it will bring your drawing back to the center for you. If you want to shift your drawing around and just move it from side to side, this little hand here does a good job at that. It's called the pan tool. I'll click it and you can see I can move it from side to side and not just rotate it. And so those things will help us to look at our object, move our object around or our drawing, and be able to see it better. Let's look at some of the simple drawing tools now. I'm going to start a new document. It says Save Changes. No. Again, we're looking at this odd angle here, but that's fine. Kind of looking at it from the top. Over here we have some tools, and I'll start out with a pencil, and that just makes straight lines for us. And so that's all it is. There's not a whole lot to it, but if you do want to create an object with it, of course you would need to always bring it back to the very starting point to be able to make an object from that. And so it needs to be completely connected all the way around. There is a freehand tool as well, and for making really accurate drawings, this is not very helpful. But if you're just playing around, this is kind of fun to play around with. And again, it needs to connect in order to make an object. We have a simple square or rectangle here. If you click, hold it down, and move your mouse and then let go, you can make a rectangle. The same thing with a circle. Click and hold it down, let go. And then we have a polygon. With the polygon, it starts off with 6 sides. Click, draw, and let go. But if I want to make a different kind of polygon, I could click off of it and then click back on polygon again. And down at the bottom right hand side, you see it says sides here, and it says 6. If I go to my keyboard and type in 3 and enter, now I have a triangle. So now I can click and drag that out. And so you can change the polygon that you have based on the number of sides that you enter in. You saw me pull out and make an object look 3D instantly. And that's the fun of SketchUp, is that you can so easily and quickly make things look 3D. And so this is the push-pull tool, and I can pull these objects out. And you see some of them are overlapped, and because they've overlapped, they're kind of eating into each other here. And so anyway, that makes it really fun. I can rotate around and look at this and see how it looks. Before we stop, let me show you one other thing real quick, and that is the paint bucket tool. With the paint bucket tool, I can change colors of things. And so I can click on a color and then color that object. I can choose a different color for another part of the object. And so it usually colors the faces of the objects or the particular side that you're looking at or clicking on. Along with colors, if you click down right here, there are other things as well. So there are what I would like to call textures. And you see it says fencing here. I can click on this and click, and you see it gives it this fencing effect. In fact, you can even see through it right there. There's others as well. We'll go to a wood pattern, since we'll be doing some woodworking in this class, and click. Sometimes the patterns turn out beautiful, and sometimes they don't. If your pattern turns out a little weird or it doesn't look right, you can always go to the edit menu and change these numbers down here. And so sometimes if you increase or decrease, you usually decrease these numbers, then you can get the pattern to look a little bit better. So if it looks very fuzzy or just too big or too small, you can change these numbers in here. Keep this locked so the ratio is staying, but either increase or decrease the number, sometimes by a few hundred, sometimes by 1,000, or sometimes by more or less, and that will change the way the pattern itself looks. So you see how to draw basic shapes and how to add color and a texture to them. What I would like for you to do first is to play around with SketchUp. See what you can do drawing with these things. For example, some things I haven't even talked about, like the 3-point arc here. And so if I go in and grab a line, and I can draw a line here, and then I can grab a 3-point arc. With a 3-point arc, you literally click 3 times. Once, and then click on the other end of where you want the arc at, 2, and then I'm going to move this where I want it, and then I'll click a 3rd time. And you see it made that half circle there. And I can take and push and pull that out, of course. Okay? So I want you to try and just draw some things out, try the color out, try the texture out, and spend a few minutes doing that. After you do that, your assignment, and this will be graded, is to draw a cube head. What is a cube head? Cube head is simply drawing a cube. It doesn't have to be a perfect cube. Draw a rectangle, extrude it out or make it have depth or height, and all 3 dimensions. And then you're going to draw these things that you see down here on it. And so it's going to be graded based on if you have all of these requirements here done. So you need a mouth and the eyes that are cut into the cube. In other words, once you have the cube and you draw the mouth, you'll push the mouth in. You need a nose, ears, and hair that come out of the cube. So you'll pull those out. That's also called extrusion. And then you need a color on some part of that cube head, and you need a texture or a pattern on some part of that cube head. I'm going to show you real quick kind of what I mean. The whole idea of this is for you to use these drawing tools, but also be very creative. I've had all kinds of things drawn in the past, from robots to SpongeBob to witches to whatever. You be creative with it, and you make yourself a cool cube head. So, for example, if I start off here with a rectangle, and size does not matter right now. We'll talk about size later. I'm going to pull this out, and this is what I'm going to start with to make my cube head. And so let's see if I can bring this a little bit in. I'm going to start with some eyes, and this can be very simple. It does not have to be complicated. And draw a circle. There goes 1. There goes 2. I could have one bigger than the other one. That's totally fine. Again, it's all about you being creative, but also about you using the tools properly. And you know, we just did that little line with a 3-point arc. Again, you just click and let go, click and let go, click and let go, and then move. Be careful, because if you saw, let's see if I can do it again. Right there. If we look carefully at that, that's sticking straight out this way, and that's not what I want. Okay? Although that would be a cool tongue to have. That would be really cool. All right? That's not what I was going for. I was going for down. So there goes down. And I can push that in. So there goes my nose and my mouth. I mean, excuse me, my eyes and my mouth pushed in already. So I just need to draw a nose. I need to draw ears and hair. I need to extrude all of them out. And then I need to add a color and a texture. Some people say, what in the world are you going to do for hair? If you really get messed up on that, hair can be very simple. Don't let that confuse you. I could even do something like this for hair. And then pull that out. Alright? Work on your cube head. This is not a project to see who can get done the fastest. I want the most unique, the most cool looking cube head that you can make. Creative cube head. Alright, so think about what kind of shapes you can use. You can use the polygon feature. You can put shapes together. You can do different extrusions or different pulling out and pushing in. You could even come in here, and I've seen some people do things like come back in with another eye here and then pull that out. And that's fine as long as you have part of it pushed in that meets the requirement. There's all kinds of things that you can do with your cube head. So have fun with it. Make sure you save it. This is for a grade. It needs to be saved in your documents. If you don't save it, I can't give you a grade. Good luck.